Right, we'll go into the Temple of Certain Doom. As you can see, it is pitch black. It's a bit moss to the side. We've got the torch with us. So that would have been some sort of, I don't know, possibly seating area. Now I'm sure before I found some sort of pipe work coming out, but it looks like someone's piled up some rubble there. Whether they wanted to set fire to it or not, I don't know. You do get a lot of that in here. Obviously aerosol cans. And I don't know, was it a wash house, or the ceiling is heavily scorched. You've got pipes sticking out. Now I don't know, see, look, water mains or something like a water main down there. So I'd say it had some sort of washing element, and originally the walls were white. As you go through here, someone is still gay, obviously. That is another exit. Now look at the way that is. The shaping of they're not just normal squared off roofs, and there's piping here. So I don't know, again, was that water, was that gas coming through? Pipe work, again, heavily scorched. It's not likely to collapse in on us at any point. Couple of, well, it looks like hooks. We'll carry on back down this way. And I'll show you the trick I done last time of just how dark it can get. This is the things that worry me, is the things that there could have been somewhere where people could have jumped out on you. Sure. When you come down here by yourself, obviously you have that fear. Right, are you two in total darkness?
I thought this was a fucking skull.
Whack your power off.
Huh?
Whack your power off. Right, okay, here we go. We're going to go total dark. So yeah, there is nothing. Total darkness. If you take a few steps forward, you can see where natural light occurs. Try not to trip over and kill yourself, guys. And then I put the torch back on. I think these two behind me are trying to kill themselves. I said that would have been an old drain manhole cover, so you don't want to approach it from the top. And then there's a pile of bricks here. We're basically getting towards the end as far as we can go. And this was just piled up with leaves.
This pool was falling over everything.
But you can see the names, London Brick Company, LBC. You see it clearly marked on the brickwork. And that is about as far as we can go in here. There are other bunkers like this down here. This is Sundon Pits, of course, if I haven't mentioned it to you, but I would not say they're as accessible. As we follow these two out, they're trying to fall about all over the place. So generally down here, to bring a vlog to life, you sort of start playing on the psyche of what could be lurking. And as these two in front of me try and keep a straight walk ahead without falling over.
What are you doing, Paul?
He's dangerous, he really is dangerous. Should not be left to his own devices. Anyway guys, we survived it again. It's the second time I've been down here. We carry on. Kind of in a natural valley where all these bunkers are. You can get access to other holes if you're prepared to either dig or take a risk, but sometimes it certainly isn't worth it. Fallen timber just adds to the ambience of the place. Not 100% sure, but I believe there was something around this area. Go out here briefly. Someone's used this as some sort of little camp area. Down there you can just see the train track, so we won't traverse down in that general direction. But there used to be an old staircase around here, and also some more boreholes with these little bunkers in them. That's what we're trying to look for at the moment. Here we have another accessible bunker, but I certainly wouldn't go down there. As I said, I knew there was an old staircase that went up this way. Not many steps, but there's another pit entrance over here to a different hole. But again, would you really want to risk it? This is where AP would come in handy, because he would go down that no problem at all. It goes back about 30-40 feet. Paul is having a go at being a tunnel rat. You're mad. Here we go, Paul the tunnel rat making his way out. Did you have fun down there? Okay, that appears to be our second burnt out vehicle of the day. Looking very much like Land Rover, you reckon? I'm going to try and make my way through to it, get a closer look. Yeah, that's certainly a Land Rover. How many years that's been down here, God only knows. Usual thing, probably stolen. Those who have had their joyride get down here, have their fun out of it, and then just trash it and torch it. Wow. Again, not a great deal left. Still got the steering wheel. Here's your engine block. It's seen better days, and that's taken a big heavy side impact as well.
You think it still works?
Don't know, a bit of T-cut, I'll bring out the colour again. Bit of WD-40, lube up the engine, you never know. Our first look at our next location of today's little Jolly Boys outing. That is Houghton House, the ruins of. Okay, so these are the supposed haunted ruins of Houghton House. As you can see, it is significantly old, and it does have that Downton Abbey feel to it, but it's a lot older than that. Not sure of the century itself, but it got to this state pretty much because a guy, I think his name was Francis Russell, don't quote me on that, it sounds about right, but he wanted this to be like a pleasure palace type thing. He wanted to have it as a let building where people could come and stay, but he wanted to have it so people could have access to the grounds. I think the local authorities at the time, whether it be royalty etc., refused his request, and so he threw his toys out the pram and ordered that the roof be removed from here so no one could stay here, and it has stood derelict like this ever since, for somewhere in the region of, I believe, 400 years. But it's old, it's beautiful, and it certainly does the trick for me. I've been here once before, of course, with Rachel, maybe 18 months ago. We had a good day out here when I first really got into doing vlogging, and I just thought this just adds something to today to give a different aspect of what we're looking into. All different types of things, to be honest with you, but this is just superb. You could do it as a standalone vlog, but I'll put it in the mix. There are boards around that depict what rooms are what. I'd say this went over possibly 3 floors, what of a basement. Very ornate. Now it is said that it is haunted. By whom or what, I'm not sure, but I have heard stories that you'd be walking around, you could be by yourself, and you'd hear a stone hit a wall. Now, of course, with a building like this, which doesn't look as if it's been repurposed like some of the older ones I have seen, that I dare say stones could fall from the top. But the story goes you could be walking around here by yourself and a stone could hit the wall, and that would say that you was not alone. You've got some sort of layout here of what it would have looked like yesteryear. Okay, so we're saying 17th century, so that means obviously 16 something. That's the way the centuries work out. So if you say it was 18th century, it'd be 17 something. It's the century that precedes that is the one it takes its name from. Oh, the fireplace might actually go up. Birds have obviously nested in there by the looks of it. Makes sense for me to actually go and use the steps rather than just stepping out of where the window once was. So I shall do that. Give you the palatial view, so to speak, because it has got some truly magnificent marble pillars. There we go. How majestic is that? Absolutely enormous place back in the day as well. When I was with Rach, she mentioned that she could just imagine ladies and gents in their finery having afternoon tea out here, and it certainly is quite apt and fits the billing for this place. It's truly magnificent. I just wish there was a way that you could get up, walk around the top area, but it's clearly gone well beyond that point. For sure, it certainly had style and status, and its own quirky way it still does now. Definitely worth a visit, guys, definitely worth a visit. Now this is this English Heritage or National Trust? I didn't see the plinth which turns around and depicts what it is. One you have to pay, one you don't. This one you don't have to pay, so you just turn up here, rock up here with your family with a picnic around this lawn area, and just enjoy something peaceful and quiet. Even dress your children up in period costume. Maybe you have a son that wants to be a knight, dress him like that, bring him here, he can act it out, all good fun. We actually have a couple of lit lanterns just left here outside. Very nice. Okay, so you can see from the bottom of that it's English Heritage. National Trust, you have to pay. English Heritage is just free access all areas to everyone. Unless I've got that wrong. But that's the way I've read it. We've certainly not paid a fee to come here today. Whereas we did when me and Rach went to Stowe on Saturday. It was like £13 each to get in. Look at that, original bit of wood. Certainly hope you're enjoying this little jaunt we're having around today. Doing a bit of everything. We've urbexed a few bunkers, old ruins. I'm going to try and get to the abandoned church of Segano. It was an old village that got made redundant. Everybody left, went further on to a smaller village called Ridgemont, and all that remains of Segano now is the church, which has been having a few issues recently. So they have put a barrier up around the outside, but last time we was here, or last time I was here should we say, the barrier was still accessible. So we shall move on to that now. That is Bedford and central Bedfordshire that you can see in the distance beyond. Yeah. Okay, following on from Houghton House, pretty much across the road from there, in a field, probably guarding back in its time, this is a Second World War pillbox. It's like it would have been a gunned home front, home guard type of thing, to guard from the skies the enemy attack of the Germans during the Second World War. And basically they would have had possibly anti-aircraft guns, maybe even basic rifle or machine guns that they would fire from these turrets at aircraft coming in. So let's go and have a look, because it should be accessible inside. That is not a funny dog poo, but we have found a friend. That is a frog.
Let's try the pheasant doors.
Right, we're down inside the pillbox. As you'd expect, graffitied up. It's very fluorescent, by the way. Someone's used fluorescent paint in here. Goes under the side of the camera. Yeah, you got pretty much just a room, a wall, the way it goes around, and the guys would have taken it in turn, sentry duty down here for a period of time, and then they would change, someone else would take over, and they would just constantly be looking, maybe have radio connectivity to maybe their barracks, that something might be coming in, and they would just be generally looking to the sky. And these have just sat here, should I say, spit my teeth out. You usually find them adjacent to old military airports and old towns and cities from that era, just as a natural defence. So we are multiplying on our frog stroke toad front. Don't you dare jump on me. And there is obviously a footplate down here, which is what you stand on to get out, because I had to sit on my butt to make me way in, because it's quite a tight fit. Okay, so again, at the abandoned church of Segano, someone has been kind enough to leave the fence open so we can walk straight in to these old church ruins, which have certainly seen better days. Problem you've got is the reason they put a fence around the perimeter at the moment is if you look over there you can see piles of rock, stone, etc., because it is starting to crumble. Wouldn't say collapse, we've just got some crumbling sections, so they've taken it upon themselves to be safe, as explorers do. We take the risks. I do love the fact that you've got these doors. It's nice when they're closed, you can push them to open them up. Yeah, a lot of the rocks have certainly fallen. As long as we don't lean on it or disturb on it, we should be fine. See, I don't know, would that have been an old staircase or not? It just looks too tight. There is a tomb here. Trying to read the inscriptions with the sunlight beaming down on you is very, very difficult. Creepers, vine creepers hanging over the top now. As I said, more masonry, rubble that's collapsed from the corner section here. And it could just be that it's just this arch that's going, but to be safe, they've put a perimeter up around it. But this just adds to it. Unfortunately, the bell tower's not open anymore. Last time I did manage to gain access to the bell tower. All you're going to pretty much get in there is pigeons, etc. nowadays. I can show you what it looks like from the outside. Maybe pan up. Not so much. But yeah, again, it really is crumbling, guys. It's a sad sight to see, but I guess they'll come in, do some sort of work eventually, like they've done. Sometimes it spoils it, sometimes it doesn't. If it preserves it for future generations, what they will do, unfortunately, it means the likes of this wood, if it's not savable, they'll take that out and they'll put like a coating over the top of these to stop these crumbling any further. And they really go in, repoint the brickwork. It sort of becomes like a facade then. Yep, always do today's little explore. Of course, with the abandoned chapel comes a rickety old graveyard that some people said it's maybe the bunnies, the rabbits underneath burrowing. I believe personally, to the left of us there's a brook, and I think the brook keeps breaking its bank during the winter, autumn months, and it comes across, it floods the area, washes away the soil, and it gives the effect that the graves have risen. So you can't truly see it because of the length of the grass and the foliage around it at the moment, but when this is all died off, you walk around here and all these graves, it's just like as if they've been buried literally in the last fortnight. Everything exposed. But there you go, that is your abandoned church of the once village of Segano, which no longer exists. I believe just over the time there was nothing here for the people, so they moved on to Ridgemont, which is just down the road, took everything with them, and this is all that remains. There is a story of a young girl that died around this area, and I believe it was workmen in the area one day. They found this girl walking lonely around here. They asked where she was from. She said she was local, and they turned round when they get her, I think it was a drink they had with them, and turned back round and she disappeared. And locals have said that the girl had died years previously. So there's certainly haunts about, and it adds to the nature of the channel. Well guys, we can make our way through to today's final destination. We're heading into the roundhouse, which is Brogborough, can't think that's the way it's pronounced. But to get to there, you got to go across the Bridge of Certain Death, which is up in front of us, and then it's an old ruins. I'm not sure if it's 15th century or beyond then. Here we have it. This is our Bridge of Certain Death. Of course, it's seen better days, but it should hold our weight as we go across it. I think, in all honesty, it was an old rail bridge. I think there's an old path that goes along here, and that would have been a disused train line. But anyhow, we survived the Bridge of Certain Death. Here we go, as we come out of the corner here. It's the first sight of the roundhouse. I think originally something like 16th, 17th century. Become abandoned over the years. I think it had immigrants staying in it in the early 1900s. They had a small fire. It took hold of the building, and all we have now is ruins. There was I believe a milking farm to the right hand side, but this is going to be very overgrown. How close we can get in I don't know, because it's going to be surrounded by stinging nettles everywhere. This place is seriously overgrown and trashed, and obviously graffitied up over the years. I think it was more winter time the last time I come here, so you didn't so much have the problem you did with the stinging nettles. But walking through that for myself with bare legs, that is to say I've got naked legs, not legs of a bear, it would be pretty treacherous and would probably sting me to pieces. But we still get to have a walk around. There's some graffiti in here. Obviously some point of fire, because the timbers are all scorched. Ouch, that just stung my leg. Make our way out to the back. As I said, I think this was a cattle milking area. So along there, yeah, if you see there, out there, I don't need to go all the way out and get myself stuck in the bracken, but they would have been little pens where I guess the cattle would have come up, probably had some sort of milking device behind them while they ate straw and hay from bales. We do have some of the remains of what would have been electrics and circuit breakers there to the side. Your main central beam is in pretty good condition. It's just the rest of it around which has collapsed, so it can no longer fall in. It's just these walls over time that will become brittle and they'll collapse either in or out. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you've enjoyed what we've produced. So from myself, Adventures of Paul, CJT Explorer, Callum, his first time out on a proper explore. I think we've done something in the region of 6.5 miles. We've taken in some bunkers, we've been to old ruins, we've been to Kruger's Lair, which is a brand new one. I don't think anyone's done that one at all yet. So add that together, we've had a pretty spectacular day. Really enjoyed it. Hope these guys have too. And with that, guys, I will see you in the movies. Take it easy. Bye for now.